Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back, and here we are with Final Fantasy I for the Nintendo Entertainment System. This is the title screen, and if you press start or any button at all, it will take you to the next screen. And here we're going to set the respawn rate, which is about the text in the game, how quickly it's going to pop up in battles, and how long it'll stay on the screen. So we want it to be about 6, just so you guys can see what's going on. We are going to hit a new game. And now we get to pick from 6 classes to form a party. So immediately we're going to grab a fighter, and we're going to name him Bigdumbcatgaming. Next up, when considering my party too, I did want to kind of show as much in the game as possible. I just couldn't bring myself to play with a thief on this first run through. Maybe in the future, if we do any randomized runs or anything like that, we could throw a thief in there. He's just borderline worthless until he gets his class change. So I did opt in to do a black belt, whom we are going to name Andy. And for the caster lineup, we do have the option of a red mage, white mage, and black mage. I would like to show off some of the level 8 spells which the red mage doesn't have access to. Your red mage in this game is kind of like a jack of all trades. He can do a little bit of everything, but he's a master of nothing. He's still one of the best classes to play with if you are playing on this version. So let's go ahead, pick our white mage, and let's do the generic like and subscribe characters. And we're going to go with a black mage. So the problem with black mages are they're very squishy, but they do work with the black magic, so they are able to deal a lot of damage to groups of enemies once you get these second level spells. And here is his name, Sub, and it gives you one final moment just to confirm your party. We're good to go. And immediately, it starts you off in front of the first town. If you press start, you can go to your character screen, where if you look into your weapons, you have nothing. Your armor, you have nothing. And your status, so it's going to tell you for level up what you need in terms of experience points. It also shows you your character's stats. Like our fighter here is great with strength. He's got a lot of vitality. That basically tells us he's going to be a great tank, which is why he's going to be the leader of the party. Now our casters, we want them kind of in the back row, so they're going to be in the final 2 slots of the group. And you can always check your formation by pressing select. So here we have our fighter in the front. Our next up is Andy, our black belt. He's going to be the next best at absorbing damage. And then our mages are in the back. So let's go ahead and pick up some armor. And let's see here. We're going to go right up to the weapon shop. And first things first, let's buy a rapier for our fighter. Some people will leave their black belts unarmed in the start, just because they always get like double hits. They can get between 1 and 2 hits early on. I prefer the nunchucks just because of the raw damage they produce. It can help kill certain enemies early on, but middle, maybe like level 5 of the game, we can see how he does unarmed. Next up, Iron Hammer for our white mage. And finally, you can pick between a wooden staff or a small knife for your black mage. We'll go ahead and take the small knife. And let's hop into this armor shop. Let's get that chainmail for the fighter. Next up is wooden armor for our black belt. And finally, let's pick up some cloth armor for our casters. And that leaves us with 215 gold, so we definitely want to pick up some spells. First off, let's select our white mage in the white magic shop. We want Cure, just so we have a way of healing early on. And for our black magic, let's go ahead and pick up a generic fire spell. Fire tends to be a little bit more effective against the enemies at the start here. There is a lightning and sleep spell that we will be picking up later. And seeing as how we've played this game quite a good bit, we're not going to go in there and talk to everybody, primarily because I'm trying to keep these videos at about 30 minutes, just so it's not too much to watch, but just enough that we make a good bit of progress. In the overworld, you will run into encounters, so our first fight here is going to be against 3 imps, and you want to divide your party up in terms of which party member is attacking which enemy. If you do dump everybody into one character, they will not automatically target the next one. It'll just say the attack was ineffective, or you attacked nothing. So here the fighter is on the top imp, the black belt is on the middle imp, and our casters, which by the way, we went and purchased that armor, totally didn't equip it. And as always, I'm keeping the mistakes in the game. But you'll be able to see this black belt do 2 hits and 2 damage. So in this case, since we didn't equip our armor and weapons, let's go ahead and put the fighter on the bottom one, and we'll just dump all 3 party members into the middle one. I believe the imps have anywhere from 6 to 8 HP. That critical hit is very unfortunate. And let's see if we can get rid of this imp here so that we can get our armor equipped. It's looking like a no-go though. Let's go ahead and finish this guy off. Nice little critical hit there. And at least we got to see the unarmed animations, right? After the fight, you'll see how much experience you gained and how much gold you gained. So, let's hop in there and equip that equipment. When you have it equipped, it will have the E beside it. And only certain classes can equip certain items. That was heavily thought about in this party formation here. I did want to show off as much as possible. And show off in terms of spells, equipment, armor, and such. A lot of it really doesn't work the way that it was intended to. Like, there's certain weapons that are more effective against certain types of enemies, and unfortunately in the Nintendo version, due to programming errors, it doesn't really work that well. Or work at all in this case. Which is another reason we don't really want to play with a thief. So. We do want to get level 2 here. We could probably take the first boss of the game, if I'm being honest, at this level. But if we run into a bad encounter, we could lose somebody. Specifically one of our casters. But anyway, it's pretty standard Final Fantasy game. We're not going to grind too much, just what I feel is necessary so that we're not sitting there getting farmed or gaming over a bunch. We would like to make progress in these videos. And we didn't come out too badly there. So we've got 7 experience along with the 4 earlier, so we know we've got 11 and we needed 40 to level up. This is usually where I do this grinding, right here, just behind the town. You're not too far away, but you can get plenty of monsters to fight here. So initially here, Garland used to be a protector of the kingdom, kind of a top knight here, and unfortunately he's turned evil and ran off with the princess. So the first objective in the game is to go save the princess. And here we've got the chance to strike first. So again, 5 imps, we're going to split our party members up. Usually the fighter and black belt will dispatch an enemy on their own, assuming they hit. And if both of our casters hit, they can also dispatch an enemy. The casters can be a little unreliable too. Their damage values can be hit or miss. But usually the white mage will take care of it with her hammer. And there we go. So, another battle down. And again, we're just getting that level 2. And while we're farming that level 2, let's go ahead and talk about the plan. So, I'm going to keep making changes to the recording format just until I get it where I like it. I do want it to be a little better, and as I continue to learn, I would like to keep improving. Basically, I'm going to try and schedule these videos out. Unless it's like a quick game where I can finish it within an hour or an hour and a half without having to practice and speed run and all that jazz. I'm going to try and keep the videos between 15 to 30 minutes. 30-minute format is more for like games like this, with Final Fantasy, where you're having to put the fights in the game. I don't really want to have to edit out too much of that. If I do a big grinding spree, there is a chance that I will off-screen it, just depending on feedback too. If you guys want to see the grinding, then I'll leave it in. But usually, people don't care to see that. And if I end up keeping it in, I'll probably drop a timestamp in the video just so we can skip ahead if that's not your thing. If there are any funny moments or oopsies or anything like that where I die or make a horrible mistake, I will timestamp that for you guys just so it's easier to see and laugh. things are going pretty well here. Not a lot to say, we're just getting that experience, getting level 2. And we're getting some good encounters, good mob density here. Fun story. I believe I was 3 years old when my parents bought this game for me, and we were walking around a flea market. I saw the box art for this game. It had the sword and the crystal on it. I can't remember if it was the box art or the actual cover for the game itself, and I immediately wanted it. And when I first learned to play this game, you know, I couldn't read at that time. Also, we just got our level up here, so you're going to get to see your characters and what stats improved. But anyway, so I couldn't read, and I kept dying and gaming over. I didn't know how to equip armor, I didn't know what to do. And how I kind of play tested the game is I would pick 44 party members, all the same class, and I would just walk to Garland, and whichever ones could fisticuff him down the best, that's how I decided my party. So ultimately, I had 4 fighters, right? Because they're the best pick for that. They do the most damage unarmed in the early game, unlike the black belt who's doing 2 and missing. And they also take the least amount of damage, I believe, due to their vitality stat. And they also have more hit points. So the way that I played this game is I would just beat everything down unarmed with no armor on with my fighters. And I figured out eventually that potions and antidotes, what they did in the game. So I would sit there and buy 99 potions, and I would have antidotes, and that's how I cleared half of this game. It's pretty brutal, but I believe I was around like level 37 or 38 when I finally beat Carrie. Spoiler alert, that's the second fiend. And we will have to go and get rid of all 4 fiends to see the end game. But unable to read, unable to figure things out other than relying on the book itself. That's how I played this game, which, by the way, I do have the book right here. It is missing the cover, and it's older than I am as well. But in that little manual, it will guide you until about halfway through the game, up to the class change. So here is the first temple. You can really spend a lot of time in here, and I believe there's 2 chests that are 2 rooms that are locked. We'll need a key to get into those later. But I believe the ones that are unlocked are this direction. So here is a creep. It is a little bit stronger of an enemy, and this is why we picked up the fire magic, which I didn't explain it yet, but your spells have charges, unlike other or later Final Fantasy games where you have magic points. Basically, the only way to restore those charges is by sleeping in a house or by going to the inn and resting. He was worth a good bit of experience and gold. We're going to need a lot of that. So we've got a cap, and immediately, let's go ahead and put this on our black belt. Oops, a little bit of delay there. So the cap, I believe, is worth 1 absorb, and I'll show you that after this fight. So here we have double creep. And let's go ahead and expend everybody on, or have everybody attack that 1 creep. It's a good hit from the fire spell. As you can tell, they do a lot of damage, and I would much rather get rid of 1 than have 2 creeps up for 2 rounds. So here you see those attacks are ineffective. And let's go ahead and dispatch this creep. Let me see, we can go back. Don't remember what I did there. And let's set up that fire spell. So we'll have 1 fire spell left. This Final Fantasy is a little bit more difficult, and I just love that about it. I love the intensity, love the sounds, love the visuals. I loved it enough to go through the game completely unarmed, armor and weaponry, you know, and just beat my head into a wall, so. But anyway, you see the absorb value in the bottom right above evade percentage. It's set to 5. So if we go ahead and unequip that cap, you can see now it's 4. That extra point of absorb can make all the difference, and he's going to get hit more than the mages should, so we definitely want him to have that armor equipped. Not too long from the beginning of the game, you will be able to purchase caps, gloves, and things like that to further bolster your defense. That is a heal potion. That is a potion that will allow you to heal your hit points, and a cabin, which will allow you to rest and heal everybody's hit points a little bit. And here we have some bones. We're not too worried about these guys. However, I can't remember really how much hit points they have. There you go, we're going to waste our black belt's attack. Pretty good so far. If we can get rid of these last two. Wow. Black Mage is doing work with that small knife. So, pretty easy fight so far. You can get some really nasty encounters in here. And for the most part, through a lot of the middle game and later on, you can run into nasty encounters. Like this one here is a pretty nasty encounter. But I'm not about chickening out, so let's try and finish this up here. Some encounters you actually cannot run from. You'll have to deal with them. There is the white mage doing big damage, of course. And let's keep these guys hitting that greater wolf there. And we'll have our casters try and pick off one of the regular wolves, which is going well. More big damage. You can see the blue, I believe they called it. It looks purple to me, but in the NES version, they often refer to enemies of that color as blue. Wolf is taking a little bit more damage than the rest. It's a little bit tougher to get rid of, but finally we got rid of him. So if you really wanted to explore this temple, if you tried to do what we just did in here at level 1, you would probably be having a bad time. Having that level 2 makes it pretty minor to traverse. So we cleared the wolves there. It's not really an encounter that you really want to be fighting. And let's see, how many cure spells? Just one. We'll save it. Here's Garland and there's our princess. You know, no one touches my princess, light warriors, you impertinent fools. I, Garland, will knock you all down. He's a pretty straightforward boss. He doesn't really do anything but melee your characters. So we're just going to all in on him and watch and see who he attacks. Perfect. And you saw there he did 13 damage to the fighter, so you can only imagine what he would do to the casters if he hits them. He's pretty nimble. I also did decide to start uploading one NES game and one SNES game and kind of rotate them. Our Black Mage took a little bit of damage there. So you guys have that to look forward to as well. I don't think I want to pick off more than I can chew though and do more than 2 titles at once. Let's go ahead and heal our Black Mage. I would be really surprised if he managed to kill the fighter. And we actually won't need that healing at all because we just cleaned that fight up. You could talk to the bats as well, and they hit you with the Kiki. But we really just want to get to the princess. She thanks us, and she's going to port us out of here. We're going to hit up the dad here so that he will build a bridge so that we can progress into the next portion of the game. The princess herself, you can forget to talk to her, but you need this item to actually beat the game. She's going to give you a loot. So now we can actually head out of here. And the NPCs in this game, much like Xanadu, they will tell you the lore and what to do. And they tell you, you know, the name of the cities, and they can kind of help guide you. So let's head back over here. There also, in the castle there, is an invisible NPC that you can talk to. And just to show it off, let's talk to this lady. So, immediately telling us there's a witch north of the castle named Matoya. Let's pick up a little bit more magic here. We are definitely going to want that lightning spell or lit. And we don't want to select our fighter, but we do want the sleep spell as well. And let's head over here to the white magic shop. We will pick up harm, which is effective against undead enemies. And I believe that's all that we want here. We may want to pick up a few antidotes if we run into any enemies that can poison us. Going to the next town. Pure is what we need for that. Perfect. And now we do want to rest at the end, just so that we replenish our magic and heal up. I do have a second monitor over here where I'm recording with. But currently there's no notes up there or anything like that. And here is the official title screen. So their journey begins. What awaits the four they do not know. Each holding an orb that 2,000 years ago shined with beauty from within, but now only darkness. Come, start your journey. Return the light of peace to our world. It's going to tell you who programmed the game, character design, story, scenario, all of that. And immediately if we head up north, you can run into Matoya up there, but there's not a lot that you can do. We got the chance to strike first, which we will gladly take it. And there we go. Another easy fight cleaned up. I do recommend that you do try to fight most of your fights early in the game, as the first, what I call real dungeon, the Marsh Cave, can be quite brutal to clear. This fight right here is going to be brutal to clear, so let's make sure that we get rid of one of these creeps. Luckily, our Black Mage dodged there. And he's going to take a little bit of damage. Sub's going to take a little bit of damage. And that fire spell is going to hopefully clear that up. Yep. Let's get rid of the second creep. Let's go ahead and toss a cure spell on our Black Mage there. And just to ensure, this may be overkill for the creeps, but I would much rather get rid of them, as they can potentially do big damage to our casters. And we also have an ogre here who is going to be doing big damage regardless. Luckily he missed there. So we did dump a lot into this creep. I am going to opt in to have our fighter attack the ogre and let our other 3 party members clean that creep up. This is not what we wanted ideally, but we have to take what we got. That works. So things aren't looking too bad so far, but that ogre can crit literally any of our party members and maybe kill them. And just for that reason, I'm going to hit him with a fire spell. It's not bad at all. And luckily he is focusing our fighter. Our 2 main offensive attackers have missed their attacks, which is very unfortunate. But luckily, the ogre, as stated, is pummeling our fighter and not our casters. Man, he's really tanking some damage. I believe they have a little over 100 hit points, but he should go down this round. Perfect. And that fight was well worth it. We did get our level 3 off of it, along with a lot of money. And I think I'm going to reserve my healing magic, just for now. I did want to show off Matoya up here, but we may opt going back to Cornelia just to heal. And it's nice and pretty in here. If you talk to the brooms, they kind of speak backwards. So it says a magic spell, but if you kind of reflect it with a mirror, I believe it'll say push B and select. We'll see what that does here once we hop out of here. And I think they're all going to say the same thing. So let's loot these chests. Get a pure, heal, and heal, which is great. Hopefully these brooms stay out of our way. So here Matoya is looking for her crystal. She can't see anything without it. Who stole her crystal? That'll be important later. And tell you what, this is going to be another little rough fight here. Let's save our magic and kind of see how it goes. We are going to fight it. And by magic, I mean our cure spells. Big damage on our white mage there. Perfect. So here, I'm going to just have everybody attack the greater wolf there. Going to heal our white mage. I'm hoping we will, well, actually our white mage is going to die. So just like that, it can really turn around on you. And that's why most people won't fight these fights as well. The risk is just too high. We are going to come out alive though, now that the Great Wolf is dead. And I doubled up my attacks there. Just a little bit of adrenaline rushing, making bad decisions now. And that's okay though. So when a party member is dead, they do not gain experience, so our white mage is going to be a little bit behind. No big deal there. And she does not automatically come back after the fight ends. We will have to go to a priest and get her rezzed. Clinic, whatever you want to call it. So that all but confirms our journey back to Cornelia. And now, since she's dead, I don't want her to fall too far behind, but we may run if we get into another bad encounter. Which is not this one. And you'll also see here that when she died, it put her at the bottom of the party, which is also another negative part about the auto formation here. When a party member is poisoned, it will also dump them at the bottom. The reason it's bad is the higher you are up on the party is the more likely you're going to be attacked. So we're heading south here, back to the first town. Almost there. And perfect. So let's go get her rezzed. Get to show that off here in the first video as well. The building with the heart on it here. This is the clinic, and we're going to res her for 40 gold. And let's go ahead and fix our party formation. Perfect. And while we're here, let's go ahead and rest at the end. At the end. Sometimes I say end. This is also how you save the game. And we've got about 1.5 minutes left on this recording, so I think we can get a little bit further ahead here. At least another fight ahead. Yeah, we'll clean this one up pretty quick. And we have more magic now, which is great. And will Andy finish this up? He sure will. Things are not going too bad at all. And just like in my Xanadu run, mistakes are going to happen. Here we have a Great Imp. You will have runs where you die or game over. The biggest trick is really just to stay positive and not get tilted. In this game, you could lose a party member literally in any fight. People that speedrun this game, they manipulate the RNG on encounters just to avoid those nasty fights. We're doing the casual playthrough, and our timer is going to go a little bit over, but for this fight I think it's well worth it. Show off the lightning magic. There you go. It's not looking good so far. We're missing most of our attacks. Let's go ahead and hit another lightning spell. We really want to get rid of one of these ogres. That one did poorly. When a spell misses, by the way, it won't simply do no damage, it'll just do really low damage. Perfect. I'm not going to expend another spell here. We just have to kind of hope he doesn't crit one of our mages or black belt, or our fighter for that matter. I believe the crits kind of go through armor in this game. Doing a little bit of damage to our black belt there. I would rather him than one of the casters take that damage. We're going to keep all in here. I do believe a crit would pretty much kill any one of the characters here. But he should go down this round. Perfect. So, I hope everyone enjoyed the first part to Final Fantasy I on the Nintendo Entertainment System here. Please hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps out. And don't be afraid to comment. Like, if you have games you want to suggest or improvements that I could make, feel free to let me know. There's nothing wrong with constructive criticism here. But yeah, stick around for part 2, and everyone have a great day.